Just a quick disclaimer of sorts before we start the video. I apologize for two things. One, you may hear a constant clicking noise when you watch this video. There's something wrong with my mic and I'm working on getting a new one, so please bear with me. And also, the editing was really rushed. Surprisingly, this wasn't because I was lazy or anything. It's because I'm going on a trip soon, as I mentioned at the end of the video. Now, when I mean soon, I mean in a few hours. And I couldn't get this video done earlier because of school and whatnot, so yeah. So I ask you guys to bear with me just this one time. If you want, you can listen to it as if it's a podcast, but later on in the video, the visuals will help you understand what I'm trying to explain. I think I found out how these new Zygarde forms work, the gimmick behind it, similar to Giratina and the Greasiest Orb, and Kieran and the DNA splices. So I'm gonna head out now. I'll see you guys in a few days. I won't be here for a bit, but it should be all good. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Later. Once again, Corocoro has leaked and left many fans in confusion. Zygarde has a bunch of new forms, but no one knows exactly how these forms are going to work. So today, I'm here to give you my thoughts on how I believe these new Zygarde forms work. What's going on, guys? Hybrid here, and before we start, I need to get this out of my system. We called it! Zygarde's giant form is based off of Hell! Call us Young Prophet Hybrid and Young Prophet Toby! Whew. I'm sorry, I had to mention that at least once. I'll try not to bring it up throughout the remainder of the video, but if you haven't seen our previous theories on Zygarde, I recommend that you do so, as I will be referring to parts of them in this video. I guess it's not really Zygarde's giant form anymore, is it? It's Zygarde perfect form. Excuse me. Zygarde complete form. I think everyone comparing perfect Zygarde to perfect Cell got Game Freak to change the name here in the West to complete Zygarde. And personally, even though it's a joke, or it's kind of a joke, I believe everyone comparing Zygarde to Cell close the doors for further speculation. A lot of people are thinking that like how Cell combines with Android 17 and 18, Zygarde will fuse with Xerneas and Yveltal to achieve his perfect form. But I think otherwise. Let's lay down everything we know. We have Zygarde Core, Zygarde Cell, Zygarde 10% form, Zygarde 50% form, and Perfect Zygarde. But wait, we are not done there. That's all Corocoro revealed, yes, but remember, we still have knowledge about 1,000 Arrows and 1,000 Waves. This is very important for the theory that I'm about to explain. Now, the Zygarde core form is the brain of every form. This is Zygarde, not this, but this. It is the brain of every form, but this, or these are the Zygarde cells. What we are assuming is the dead spirits of the dead Pokemon of AZ's war. They are now scattered around the world and helping Zygarde monitor the ecosystem. When Zygarde calls upon enough of them, Zygarde can use them to achieve various other forms. The first of which we now know is Zygarde 10% form. Let's pause for a second. So we knew that Zygarde was based off Nidhogg, and we figured out how perfect Zygarde is based off of Hell. But I never mentioned a dog in Norse mythology. Well, truth be told, I knew that Hell had a dog. Its name is Garm. I never mentioned it because I never truly expected it to be important. Boy, how wrong I was. So yes, this form is based off of Garm. Now, I may have previous knowledge about this, but I wasn't the first person to make a video on this. The first person was Spectre, almost immediately after the Corocoro leaks. So he beat me to it. Feel free to check out his video where he explains a bit more. Back on topic. Zygarde 10% form is when Zygarde has 10% of his cells, and it's said that this form has incredible speed and vicious teeth. So basically, a high speed stat and a high attack stat. Nothing special so far. Moving on, Zygarde 50% form, the one that we all know, has 50% of its cells. Nothing special there. Moving on. Perfect Zygarde. How deceiving you are. Perfect Zygarde is when the core has 100% of the cells, and it's only called upon when the world is in such a threat that the 50% form can't handle it. Oh yeah, I know that Zygarde has a blue and red there, I can see it. But that's not because Xerneas and Yveltal fuse with Zygarde. It's there to symbolize what they represent, life and death, just like Hell. And what does this green represent in the middle? It represents balance. What Zygarde is known for. Like I said before, if Zygarde's new form was to look like this, it could show the connection to Xerneas and Yveltal, as Xerneas represents life and Yveltal represents death. That would make this form the perfect middle ground for this trio. Okay, so now we know everything about these forms. What about 1,000 Arrows and 1,000 Waves? I want to point your attention to the animation of these moves. When Zygarde uses these moves, it looks like Zygarde summons a bunch of little hexagons off its body to fight for it. Thousands of hexagons, thousands of dead spirits, thousands of cells. Let's look at the two most important forms, the core and the perfect form, along with the cells. Let's throw away the assumption that every form is its own separate Pokemon. We all know that this little guy cannot defend himself by himself. Okay, so it could be that you start off with the core and you gradually accumulate the cells as turns pass on by the use of an ability or an item. Sounds very viable. But as soon as I send the core out, he's catching an ice shard to his one little eye. Protect? Oh okay. I got the 10% form now. Protect, it failed. Now I'm catching that ice shard. Starting off weak doesn't seem right because these guys are too fragile, but starting the battle going all out seems like the right way to go. Think about it, 100% could mean perfect health, and once you hit yellow, you revert to 50% form due to your damaged or lost cells. Same thing to 10. And then I'd assume 10 to 1% to get the core. Seems too simple? It's cool, I agree with you. Just health doesn't seem right. That's where 1,000 arrows and 1,000 waves come into play. Like I said, the animation for these makes it look like Zygarde is commanding these cells to go and fight for it. And well, it doesn't look like they return. So, this leads me to believe that you start off the battle with the perfect Zygarde form, and the more times you use 1,000 arrows and the lower your health is, the closer you are to revert to a weaker form. For example, let's say one use of 1,000 arrows or waves would be the equivalent of what you would lose if you lost 10% of your HP. So after 2 uses of one of these moves, and after losing 30% of your health, you would be at the 50% form, and you keep going until you hit the core. Remember, the dog's description stated its high attack and speed stats, making it look like a glass cannon. That description told me this: hey, you're really strong and really fast, so attack quick before you faint, cause well, you're gonna faint. This balances out the crazy strong stats that we are predicting for the perfect form and the crazy weak stats that we are predicting for the core. So now you won't have a super broken Pokemon without having the fear of transforming it into a super weak Pokemon and vice versa. See, this method even makes a balance for the meta. Now who am I kidding, this thing is going straight into Ubers. Now Zygarde's normal form will probably still be the 50% form, meaning if you were to have Zygarde in your party normally, it would be this form. But perhaps a new equipable item makes it so that Zygarde has the ability to change forms. Because remember, 50% Zygarde's ability is Aura Break, meaning it can't transform through ability. Well, whatever the case is, Game Freak has done it again, and we won't know for sure how these new forms work until Game Freak decides to reveal any more information. Until then, we can only speculate. Thanks for watching, guys. I got a few things to say. This video's been long. I'm gonna try to make it quick, alright? I will be gone for a few days to camp. A camp trip with students and friends from my school, including Shiro, so I probably won't be able to respond to anything. This video will probably be up when we are there. Next, I still need to make an update video because this channel is a mess. But you know what else is a mess? My life. And that's all because of school. So I don't know. I'll try to get the update video whenever possible. Aside from that, if you haven't seen the previous 2 Zygarde theory videos that Toby and I made, you're probably lost during this video. But you won't be once you watch those videos, so be sure to check that out. I still don't think we're getting Pokemon Z despite everything that just leaked. I think we're getting DLC. If you want to see my reasoning behind it, check out my Neo Team Flare video. I also want to make another video explaining why I don't think we're going to get Pokemon Z specifically, because we already know the Pokemon anime, Pokemon X, Y, and Z. But I don't know, we'll see about that as well. And finally, you probably want to check out my live reaction to the Corocoro leaks. It's not PG as there is swearing and whatnot. So if you're not a fan of swearing, I suggest you don't click it, but you know, check out the other videos. And with that, be sure to hero punch that like button, comment down below with your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see you guys later, alright? Later.